Liftoff of mission 41D, first flight of the orbiter Discovery, and the shuttle has cleared the tower.
Good morning, everybody. You are on Health or High Water podcast. Thanks for joining us. Woo-woo. I am here with Trip Parks and myself, just us two going today.
Yeah, this has been us this week. Brett's been a little busy. We got a lot going on here at Ascend. We want to thank our sponsors, O2 Boost, Kalevala Labs, You Versus You, Pelvic Harmony, which is located here in Denver. You guys got to go check out Bethany's little pad. It's just getting better and better by the day.
It's adorable.
It's adorable. It really is. Gene Planet as well. We also want to thank Adrian Bybee Coaching and Herculean Adventure, as well as I'm probably missing some people here, but I think that covers it.
Cool.
Yeah. So today we are talking about something that we have not really talked about in here yet, and that is spirituality health, or health and spirituality?
Spiritual health, I guess.
Yeah, health, spiritual health. Trying to mix them together is not working out too well. Not working out at all. But for those of you guys who don't know, a little background about me and my spiritual health. I know we're probably going to get into this anyway, so I might as well go and get this off the gun. I went to a private school for a long time, Christian, non-denominational. I hated it. It was miserable. Mm-hmm. I got in-school suspension once, and I had to write Bible verses for 8 hours straight.
8 hours, really?
Yeah. I didn't make that same mistake again.
Man, that's worse than mine was.
I think I'm a little older than you. Things are a little more 90s-ified back then.
90s-ified.
But I ended up, going to high school as, public high school, whatnot. And then in 2009, my grandpa got murdered by a baseball bat when he was 87. And I had given up on religion at that point.
Yeah.
I was like, he got beat up on his mobile scooter in front of his flea market.
Damn.
And, sorry, excuse me. And it was rough, I didn't understand, how, God could
let that happen.
Exactly. It's like this guy's already on his last leg. He's retired. He's doing his thing. Like, how could someone so brutally, Mm-hmm. And then you go home and you're watching the news and your family's on the news. Mm-hmm. That's the last thing you think. Oh, well, my family will never be on the news. And then it's this huge big deal, and it's weird. So I definitely lost my path with that down the road. Mm-hmm. And then recently kind of rediscovered God here, and I've been praying every day and realizing that God puts those things in your life for a reason. It's not to, go out of his way to hurt you, but it's lessons you need to learn. I don't think I would have been doing well in school if I didn't have that situation. I don't think I'd be the man who I am today without that situation. So it's just trials and tribulations that, God has to put in front of you to make sure that you become the person he needs you to be. Mm-hmm. What about you? What about your
upbringing?
Spiritual
upbringing.
Oh, your spiritual health.
So I did start in a Christian school in second grade, stayed there all the way up through junior year. Christian, generally Baptist, very small. My class was always under 10 people.
Yep.
And so a lot of us stayed in that school from second grade up until we graduated. So it was like growing up with brothers and sisters because we were so small and everyone knew each other. And then, so I grew up in the church. My parents took us to the church every Sunday, but they were always pretty Baptist oriented, a little bit legalistic in the family history as well, some legalism that I definitely struggled with growing up in those teenage years, and you're wrestling with all of that, and why do you care so much about what I look like when you don't really care what's going on inside and what I'm struggling with. So that was definitely a challenge growing up. And then I didn't go to church very often in college. I told myself it was just, I'm too busy, I'm tired, homework, studies, etc. And then started working in physical therapy after college. And I did go on my own in a couple different places that I lived. I went to whatever church kind of fit my, vibe and what I wanted, but wasn't serving, wasn't really deeply involved for a few years. That was probably up until I was 22, 23, and then moved to Denver and got involved in an awesome church where I still am now, right in Cherry Creek, called The Pearl. I love it. I serve a couple times a month. There are people from every age group, which I love to see. lots of married people, lots of single, lots of, people in every denomination and like ethnicity, background, culture. We have a Hispanic ministry, which I love. So that's been good job. It's been really cool to really see a good, authentic church and get integrated in that.
I think that's one of the hardest things too, is finding what church fits you the best.
Mm-hmm.
We all have different ideas of what that is.
Yeah.
And here's kind of like a follow-up question for that. Where do you feel like spirituality falls into health? Or what's the correlation for you? And this doesn't have to be like some kind of like definition question. This could be like what this means to you.
For me, it's been huge. Any physical health or mental health battle I've had to walk through, it's like you have your foundation on something.
Right.
Whether that is your own ability, your own pride, or your own history, or your whatever you think your health is now, if that's your safety net. But spiritually, it's always been the ground, like the cornerstone, the foundation of how I approach struggles that come my way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Like if it's a physical issue, prayer is always a big factor in that, because I know that the God I serve is the great physician. He made our bodies. He's able to heal. Yeah.
Well, and just to add on to what you're saying too is like, I think I'm not sure. All of you guys listening to this podcast, look this up to make sure to fact check me real quick. But I'm pretty sure if you dissect the DNA, there's a certain it actually spells God's name in DNA, Yahweh, which is insane. Just to kind of bring it back, for science purposes. But I think there's little indications there that he did do some amazing things. Mm-hmm. Like for me, spiritual health comes in the fact that we learn things from different aspects, right? Mentality, I get to learn how to control my actions and my emotions. Yeah. With physical activity, I get to control my body, right? But with spirituality, there's this piece missing that not a lot of us go to church anymore, and I think there's an ethical piece missing. Now, do I believe Jonah got eaten by a giant fish? Not really, no. Yeah. Do I believe it's a great story to tell, though, and you actually learn ethics from it? Yes. Yeah. Right. We're missing an entire ethical community, building community by not going to church and not being around other people with differences. Mm-hmm. Right. They might have one similarity or whatnot, but there's a huge hole missing, and kids aren't going to sports anymore. They're dropping out. People aren't going to church anymore. People don't do cookouts for their neighborhood anymore. It's just everyone's staying inside, and we're missing this entire ethical community, and you see it in the young people now. They don't have they don't have a conscience anymore. I'm not saying everybody. I'm lumping all young people into a general thing, but it's true though. You're seeing a ton of disrespect. I mean, look what happened yesterday with the shooting in Kansas City, and there was for you guys listening to this will be on Tuesday after the shooting happened, but there was some juveniles involved, right? What are we doing here with that? Yeah. So for me, it's really an ethical place, a place you can learn ethics and build a community on yourself. Yeah. And I believe that it's really, for me, it's been the source of any and all treatment. And it should be, in my opinion, the source for treatment for mental health problems, anxiety, depression. For me, it should be the starting place where you start and look at yourself and what you believe and really figure out how you relate to religion, spirituality, God, what have you. So let's say someone comes in and they're an atheist, right? How would you go about that? Is it because religion does answer the questions that we don't know, right? What happens when we die? Is there more to this than just the human experience? So let's say someone does come in with an atheistic background or whatnot. How would you approach the healing process with that? Again, I'm not saying we're your clients or whatnot. We're just having a conversation. So what would you do if someone with an atheistic background came in and was hey, I know this is where you want to this is where I should start with healing, but I don't believe in anything. Yeah, I would spend time getting to know them and love them regardless of what they say, and bring it into conversations and just say this is what I believe. I know that you are over here on this side and I'm on this side, but
I love these conversations where we can talk about what we each believe. And just sharing your beliefs in the Word of God is powerful in and of itself. So that can be just the simplest tool with people, and just planting seeds in their mind and just getting to know them and respecting their beliefs.
I like that you said that too. It's because we've lost the ability to communicate with other humans, right? It is an extremist kind of point of view. It's either this or that. You're either Republican or Democrat. You're either Baptist or Catholic. You're all these different things. And we live in an extremism world, right? I mean, even we talked about this all the time. Is like eggs are demonized. It's like one year it's egg yolks, one next egg whites. It's always being demonized. So I think that your idea here of like bridging that gap of having patience, number one. That's God teaches patience, first and foremost, and then communicating, just getting to know people. I think that's a great start to how we fix these problems, these spiritual problems that we have, is communicating with other people and bring them in the fold. Like they don't have to believe the same things, but let's have a conversation.
Yeah. And it's so hard because Christians in general have kind of accumulated not the best reputation, and so you have that to kind of battle against as well. Well,
let's dive into that real quick, because there was a lot of that going on even when I was going to church, when I was, going to private school and whatnot. It was almost like everyone going to church was fake nice.
Yeah.
And it had to put this face on for the church and everything. And you could see right through it if you've been on both sides, You can see right through it. But, like, I think that we need to stop putting up these walls and shaming people for certain things. Like, no, if you see someone with a white picket fence, they're probably the most effed up family out there, right? Those white picket fence families, the ones that hide all their problems and whatnot. I think we need to be more accepting of, mistakes that we made. We're human. So God teaches we are only human. And then, try to support them with those problems. Like, hey, what can I do to help as your neighbor?
Yeah.
We start like having our opinions supersede our neighbors or our community's needs, then we're in the wrong, in my opinion.
Yeah. I had a thought and I forgot it.
What was the sub thought to it? Was it about religion, health?
It was about people, community.
It'll come back at the wrong time.
It'll come back at the end of the podcast.
Yeah, I got one more thing to say. So, when you are practicing your religious, are you reading the Bible? How many times are you praying? Like, how do you pray? Like, what's your religious routine?
Prayer has changed over the years in a good way. It used to be kind of structured and not very often, but I've worked on it to where it's more just conversational during my day, a few times throughout the day. Anything specific that comes to mind, I'll just say a quick prayer, talk to God, tell him how I feel, tell him what I'm thinking, what I want, etc. And so it's not like I have to be in a certain physical position. It doesn't have to be a certain time of day. And reading the Bible, not as much as I should. A few times a week right now, to be probably the most transparent, yeah. And I do, when I'm in town, which is usually going to church every week. Sometimes during the week we have events that I'm helping out at, so I'm there weeknights. Most weeks, actually, at least one weeknight. And through each season of the year, we have kind of different events that come and go, so yeah.
I'm going to tell on myself real quick.
Do it. Send it.
Well, God knows about this one, so why not? So when I was getting back into praying and getting back into this, I had this, moment where I was all pissed off, and I was like, God, if you're real, you take this pain away right now. I'll get right back in the fold. And within like a second and a half, I felt like this overwhelming peace and comfort and craziness. So I was like, all right, well, I'm back in. I'm back. I'm all in. Like this, I cannot believe I had this spiritual situation like this. And on your couch, So I was like, how do I pray? So I tried everywhere, right? Like getting on my knees on my bed, and then my room. I didn't really want my roommates catching me because I don't want them to like catching me with it. You know what I mean? Because it's just I don't want to have to explain it to them.
Yeah.
You know, so
Oh no.
I decided to start praying in the shower.
Yeah, do it. I do it.
Well, I always thought you have to get on your hands and knees to pray. So I'm sitting in the shower. I'm on my hands and knees in the shower, butt naked. Got my hands across, and my feet start hurting really bad. My knees are hurting, and I'm like, just get through the prayer. Come on, just get through it, Trip.
Suck it up.
Suck it up. God's watching.
That's hilarious.
And then I got stuck on the floor.
What?
Yeah, my calf started to cramp up. My knees started to cramp, so I'm sitting on the thing. Yeah, amen.
That's hilarious.
I was like, that's
You're like, never again.
I'll stand up and pray.
Yeah. Pray wherever you want. I pray when I'm driving, pray in the shower, workouts. Yeah.
I do think it's important to do it daily, though.
Yeah.
Right. I do think that there is something that comes with regiment and same thing with working out, same thing with eating right. It comes with consistency and regiment, and I think it's important for all of us out there. It doesn't matter if we're praying, it doesn't matter if we're eating right or working out. We got to get ourselves on a routine.
Yeah.
That shower thing has turned into my time. I'll turn the shower head away. I'll just give myself a little minute to get some peace, and then get into the praying. But separating that time from everything else. I do this journal every single day on my phone.
Yeah.
And there's sometimes I'm really not feeling doing it, whatsoever. But I have my affirmations I'm going to be successful. I'm going health or high water is going to be big, and all these other things. And if I just did it when I wanted to, that's not really putting forward the faith I have in myself to get those things done. So I think that that faith aspect, it gets reinsured by consistency. Right. Consistency first, and faith comes after. You know what I mean? That's how you prove faith. That's how you go through it. Is building a relationship with God.
Yeah.
This doesn't have to be Christian. It could be anything. You know what I mean? Building that relationship through consistency.
Because what relationship do you have that's good that you never talk to that person?
That is such a good point.
It's a relationship. Yeah. You have to be consistent, put the time in, be honest about things, be open about things, and you can't do it without doing that.
No, and it's a good place to practice, when you work with people.
Yeah.
How can I be a more tender, caring person? How can I be more attentive and more positive? And that's practice. I mean, all the relationships that mean anything to you, they've been hard at one time.
Yeah.
Right? That's what a meaningful relationship goes through. And I think that that's part of this life experience and spirituality and learning our spiritual health that we kind of forget. It's about building ourselves up so we can be better for our community. And that comes with consistency. If you're not being consistent, you're not going to get anything done.
Yeah. I remembered what I was going to say.
All right, let's hear it.
Don't leave me again. Okay, yeah. Bye. I think a good thing for people to do if you are just challenged by, if you feel like church is a facade, if you feel like you're being a different person on Sundays than you are during the week, just ask yourself if you believe something different Monday morning than you did Sunday morning and Tuesday morning and Wednesday morning. You can't believe something different on Sunday and then act totally different on Monday. And it has to carry over. If you really believe it, it will.
That's almost denying growth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's denying the ability to grow. And I think that, we can make parallels to that all across, like you said earlier, it's I wasn't feeling like going to church, or I was busy doing those kind of things. It's the same thing with taking time for ourselves for working out or eating right or getting the right sleep that we need. When we cut off the ability to grow, we don't learn and we can't help out. You know what I mean? And life is about constant growth. I mean, just in genetics, right? Stagnation's death.
Yeah.
Right? And that's the same thing with us learning. Once you stop learning and stop growing, you stop living. You're just kind of stuck in the same spot, and that's not what life's about. Yeah. And God's there to help you get through those things and teach you these lessons. Now does he put literal road signs in front of you? No. But here's sorry, I'm getting all over the place. I'm all excited.
I love it.
Right? So when you ask God for strength, does he give you hypothetical steroids to make you stronger? No. No, he gives you situations where you can be stronger. Right? Listen, I want to be a better person to be stronger. next thing you know, you see a homeless person that's really struggling, and then you pass them. Like he gave you an opportunity to be strong and to be good. For me, it's that same kind of thing. Like no one's going to do something for you. This life is all about going out and doing things yourself, and that regiment and consistency is so important with spirituality, mentality, and physicality.
Something that our pastors say that I like, and they probably should say it more often, but they can't read the Bible for you. They can't cultivate this relationship for you. They can't be up on the podium and do everything for you. You have to, at your home, before, after work, whatever, take the actions to do it and practice it and be in it and spend time in it.
Yeah, be present. Be present for the situation. It should not be a chore. If it feels like a chore for you to pray like that, like don't do it till it feels right. For me, like if it starts feeling like a chore and you don't want to do it, like, there's something else going on. Like, let's figure out what's going on. Why don't you want to pray? Why don't you want to go to the gym? Why don't you want to, if you have some mentality issues, why don't you want to see a therapist? What's that roadblock that's keeping you from doing that? Right? And that's more lessons, right? We're talking about more lessons to learn here.
Yeah. And if it is something like your case with just being angry at God for a while, just tell him. Like, scream in your room, whatever, at the top of your lungs if you want. He can handle it. He wants to know too.
And I did that all through college, like, when I was by myself in my fraternity house or whatever, like, I was still trying to process it, even after a few years down the road. I was like, still what's going on here? And I would scream and like, what the God, like, really? Like, this is what you're going to put in my lap?
Yeah.
I just lost my grandma to bone cancer, 2-3 years earlier, and now this, like, what's going on? And I think he was quiet for a reason, because I needed to grow. Right, he knew, like, God knew that there was nothing that he could do. Like you said, like, I can't open the book for you. I can't do this for you. You got to learn this on your own.
Yeah. And
I had to go through it. We have those, road bumps and those trials and tribulations that we have to go through. And I think God knew exactly what was going to happen with that. He's going to come back eventually. But I had to grow and I had to learn. I had to understand that I can't do this on my own.
Yeah.
If you're sitting in your car right now and you're like, I can do this on my own. Turn around or something.
Turn around. Don't cause accidents, though.
No, do it right now.
No,
but it's us. It's for us to do. Right? Just like when we, you got homework in kindergarten and stuff like that. Didn't make any sense. Like, why am I learning this stuff? And you still got to do it.
Yeah, I have always been very independent and proud of that independence in life. Whether or not it came from a good thing or not is irrelevant. But I've always been very independent. I'm the youngest in my family. Lived on my own since college. And I really had to make the transition out of independence in every aspect and bring in and allow myself to be dependent on God and this spiritual realm, and knowing that I can't do it all. And that's hard.
That's super hard. Especially as an American. Like, I hate saying like that, but we take our pride seriously here.
In our culture, yeah.
It's huge. Like, oh no, I got this. I could be on the side of the road, not have a tool to get my wheel off, and people are like, you need some help. Like, I got it.
No,
Don't worry about
I got it.
Don't worry about it. And I think that pride, as far as it's gotten us in life, it's gotten us to where we are for the most part, is something that hinders us from getting to that next stage, right? And I think that's when you truly become an adult, is when you accept that. It's like, hey, listen, like, I need friends, I need family, I'm doing as much as I can on my own, but I might need someone to vent to here. I might be low on rent this month, and someone might help me out here. Like, in spirituality, you need God to be there, or whatever God you choose to be there. Because you need that thing to lean off of, right? You need comfort spiritually. You need comfort physically. You need comfort mentally.
And it's such a big way that God shows up for you in your community and your friends and what they do for you and what you do for them.
Well, and to speak on that too, it's like I've had a few friends like, well, where is God? It's like it's everywhere, right? You see him in everything and all things. It's this, like I was saying this earlier, is like, God is not going to bring you a sign.
Yeah.
He's not going to put a sign in your front line like, this is what you need to do, man. It's for me, it's about us being present and aware. right? Like, am I aware of what's going on, or am I just asking God to do things because I want him to do it for me?
Right.
And I think a lot of prayers end up that way too. God, please do this and that. And next thing you know, you're like, I'm doing that. Like, please God, take care of my dogs, take care of mom and dad.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah. It's like, am I being like...
Is there any gratitude?
Right.
Yeah.
So I try to start our prayers with how grateful I am. Thank you for a roof over my head. Thank you for this and that, because I think that's important to show that gratitude. That's what love is. That's a respect factor.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure I would have been on the streets a few times if it wasn't for, him intervening in my life. It's kind of crazy when you come back in the fold like that and then kind of look back on, everything that was probably, God's doing. Probably brought me to Brett and you. It's probably it's the reason I came back to Denver out of flying over from the Czech Republic to California.
Yeah.
It's weird. I was still upset when mom had her stroke and I didn't understand. It's like, God, what, you just giving me all this stuff, right?
Yeah, just keep hitting me, I guess.
But, also God's not going to give you something you can't handle.
Yeah.
But I know we're getting kind of towards the end here. You got any last final words?
Oh, it's a big question. I have all the words. Yeah, I would just encourage anyone listening to put in the effort, however uncomfortable I know it can be, to go out and get into community and look for those people you click with that can support you in a positive way. I know it's awkward. I know you don't want to go, but you can do it. And I have seen such growth in my own life since I've pushed myself to do that and stick with those people and go through life together, the hard things, the good things. You will never regret that you did.
It's very well said.
Thanks.
Very well said. And just to kind of add on to what she's saying too is, remember, it doesn't matter if you're looking to get fit, if you're looking to eat right, if you're looking to sleep right, or looking to find God. Don't cut off your growth. Right? Don't accept that we're not perfect. Number one, accept that we're not perfect, and that we have different revenue or different avenues that that we can grow in. It's our friendships and our relationships and friendships, the way we communicate with each other, the way that we build our community up, the what we do to give back. Never cut that growth factor off and never stop learning. But Bethany, as always, this week has been awesome. It's just been you and I. If you're listening to the very end, I peed in your drawer at work. It's just soaked. It's like it's like a baby pool for your Scotch tape.
Oh, man.
All right,
It's time.
It's time. God made me the way he is for a reason.
Okay.
All right, guys. Peace.
Peace.